So, yeah, hey guys, I know, it's me again. What a shock. Despite the fact that this isn't actually going straight to the channel, the internet's still gone. It's August 9th, 1:20 a.m. I had some sleep, I'm rested. But I need to explain something to you first. Real quick, So last video was an episode of emotional highs, to say the least. This fucker deserves so much better than what he got. Good grief. And you fucking piece of shit. What the fuck, Chase? Anyway, I should explain what I was gonna explain. The last video, when the Sydney scene happened, I'm pretty sure you could actually hear the panic in my voice in some of those lines. That wasn't fake. That was not fake. That was me genuinely being afraid. It's like the last few lines there in the Sydney scene, where it's like, it's a face. Yeah, I was genuinely freaked out. And that no, please line, that was basically what I was feeling at the moment too. The thing is, I know what Sydney's dad was talking about there, but I can't really say anything until I record Jenna's route for you guys. Yeah. And I didn't notice this because I was looking down, but you guys could because it's literally on the screen. But you can see the thing slowly emerging in the van. If I hadn't looked down, I would have seen that. I remember last time when I played this, I didn't have a clue what Sydney's father was even talking about. What the fuck, dude? But yeah, it's so much worse now. It is so much worse now that I know what he's talking about. Echo, man. The town and the game both. Good grief. Alright. So now we're jumping into this. Dead, huh? What's dead? I sling the bow over my shoulder and set my quiver down the little yellow plastic cable next to me. It's got a little cubby holder in the center meant for storing crayons and shit. I haven't used it for that in a long time. I approached the target and tear off the photograph I printed out for the school's library. I remember the librarian gave me quite the look about it, not that it would explain what it was for. Right between his turban, though. Oh my god, really? Not bad for 150 feet. I smile, holding up and seeing the sunlight shine through the hole. It's at that moment, though, I start feeling a bit silly. Who the fuck am I kidding? Nobody's gonna kill this guy with a bow. They'll blast him into 100 pieces with a weaponized UAV. Oh. Okay. That's who he's... Okay. Also, hey, don't let... Oh. Wow, Flynn. Wow. Still, Uncle will dig this. He can hang it up in the garage next to the 120 feet ones. He's been trying to get me to practice more with the 22, but I like the bow better. It's quiet, so I don't gotta worry about the county sheriff getting called again. Not that I ever admit it, but I fucking hate the noise. I think I got sensitive ears or something. Garl was telling me to just use a silencer, that's how it fucking works. Dudes gonna grow up in dumb movies and video games and have no clue how the real world works. This place, at least, is pretty far away from any houses besides my own. I think I've only ever seen only one other non-friend family person out here, and that was Heather's mom, stoned off her ass. None of the group are really into this stuff, so it's pretty odd when I'm wanting to be alone. I fold up pictures, stuff it into the side pocket of my cargo pants. Walk back to the firing line, taking hold of my quiver once again. There I will ready another arrow. That's a fire, though. This nearby rumbling sound starts coming from the road about a mile north. Sounds like someone is going off-roading. I squint past the glare of the afternoon sun and spot the pale blue of a truck heading my direction. On the windshield, I spot a familiar small tufted face. What the hell? Drop my gear, watching the vehicle accelerate and decelerate haphazardly. Shitburn, what are you doing? I don't know what voice to give young Flynn. I really don't. The truck pulls up and comes to an abrupt halt. I step to the driver's side window, about to chastise the furry bastard, but the look in his face stops me. He is this right, huh? Oh, boy. This is so much worse now. Okay, I don't see any sort of jest or self-satisfied mischief as the kid steps out. Just shaken, wide-eyed blankness. Whoa, what the hell's going on, dude? Flynn, can you come with me? He's acting weird as hell. Why? Please? I sigh. Yeah, scoot over. I'm no ambulance. Someone even younger than me drive around. Just a sec, gonna grab my gear, somebody steals it. Sydney just nods. I turn, walking back to grab my cooler, bow, and quiver. I'm guessing his folks are being fucky again. You don't know the half of it. Okay. Still, he's gonna get his hide tanned for jacking their truck. I throw my equipment in the truck bed before opening the driver's side door. Sydney's already sitting on the passenger side. I notice his eyes, the way they look all bleary and pink around the edges. He's been crying, goddamn. Wanna tell me what's up? Sydney says nothing. You ain't been killing hookers again, have you? I know the bitches step out of line sometimes. You gotta keep your pimp hands strong, but there are limits, little guy. I smirk at him. He just looks down between his knees, cupping his face in his paws. I'm not helping, am I? Check my throat. Well, shit, at least to where we're going. Sydney rubs his face with his wet paws. Finally, he lifts his head and speaks. We step around the damp sticks and bramble before eventually reaching the clearing. Sydney seems to get more nervous every step we take, muttering something about being tough every now and then. I decided a while ago I wasn't going to pry, but I feel myself getting increasingly nervous. What the hell are we doing all the way out here? Eventually he comes to a stop and points past some bushes. I can see what looks like rust and metal past the grain. I raise a brow at him before stepping through. I see him, my gut sinks. Part of me wondered what could have possibly made Sydney act like this, and the thought crossed my mind, but I didn't want to believe it. He's laying down, an awkward pose, legs bent up and tucked beneath the front bumper of the abandoned van. At first I think his mouth is open, but then I realize half his jaw is missing. A clear hole visible all the way through his neck. I can see where the spine connects to the brain and everything. Okay. The blood is so dark it's like motor oil. The word catching my throat. I'm gonna be sick. I hear crying from beside me, and I know he's there. I know he's seen this too. Okay. Wow. Wow? Really? What did you... I didn't kill him! Oh shit, okay. This art style really, I don't think suits this scene, but whatever. Sydney steps up to me, a surge of emotion upon his previously blank face. I didn't, I swear! I spot the rifle next to the corpse. It's a .22 long barrel, a really awkward weapon to kill yourself with due to its length. I turn, the sight of it making me feel like I'm about to lose my breakfast. Yeah, no shit. Are you sure? I wouldn't blame you if you I didn't! His shrill yell catches me off. I can't do that. My mom is trying to sleep, so yeah. His shrill yell catches me off guard and I nearly lose my nerve. Okay. He took you out here and shot himself. We were arguing and he saw the van and started acting weird. His voice is much higher pitched than it usually is. Sydney always puts on this fake, gravelly sort of cadence to sound tough. Doesn't have any of that now and sounds just like any other scared little kid. He left me, then came back an hour later with his gun. He said he wanted me to watch him do it. Looks like he's about to hyperventilate. Covers his face with his forearms, whimpering loud. My head hurts. I take him by the shoulders and turn him away from the scene. Let's take you back to the truck, eh? I believe you. Sydney's dad was a weird motherfucker. Real grinny like TJ's folks, but even more completely fucking fake. We all used to go to the same church down in Prior Valley, so he'd treat me like I was one of them. As I was late, though, he'd been acting really strangely towards me. I always wonder if my parents told him something. Fucking doesn't matter now, does it? Let's sit you back down in the truck, okay? It's warm in there. Sydney just nods. You reach the truck and I start noticing little things about it that make my heart sink. A pack of Sydney's dad's chewing gum on the dashboard, his Fishbait Pro Game bumper sticker, the Alpine Win air freshener that dangles from the rearview mirror. All of this shit for a person who was just gone. Put the keys in the ignition, then turn on the heater and radio. All that antenna picks up out here is some twangy country stuff. I step around to the truck bed and unzip the plastic cooler I've got. I ate all the jerky from earlier. All that's left is a couple lemon lime sodas. I take one and hand it to Sydney. Here, drink this. His parents never let him have soda. I sort of expect him just to hold it and keep staring ahead blankly, but he actually pops the top and starts glugging it down. There's more in the back if you get thirsty. They're gonna think I did it, aren't they? Who will? Everyone. They think I'm a monster. Your mouth dismissed that, but the more I think about it, the more suspicious it all looks. Not that I doubt Sydney for a fucking second. He wouldn't lie to me about something serious like this. But the cops... Dude. Sydney. The angle of the gunshot. He looks up at me, his big eyes welling up. It looks bad, like he couldn't have... I didn't want him to do it. I tried and I tried and I tried. I talked to him for hours. I kept trying to pull it away. He wouldn't listen to me. He just kept talking. I resist the urge to muffle him as he begins to scream, looking around nervously. I don't think many people come into this part of state land. Instead, I place a hand in his back, rubbing gingerly. It's okay. It's okay. I thought if I yanked hard enough. Snot dribbles from his nose when she wipes quickly on his jacket. He just shakes his head. Fired. Fuck. My gut twisted at the prospect of what I'm about to do. It's like my insides have gone cold, as if the thermal pad in my clothing was gone. I'll take care of it. What do you mean? I'll, bury him. If anyone asks, you can say you were hunting down the pass a couple miles from here, and he stormed off. Will anyone believe that? More so than what really happened. My tone comes out more curt than I intended and begins to bawl again. I kind of want to cry, too. I squeeze Sydney's shoulder before letting go. So I turn and head back to the van, and it's like this physical sense of dread is hugging me the closer I get. What fucking else can I do here? Turn Sydney into the cops? I don't understand. Even his mom wouldn't. She'd probably blame me as the bad influence that caused this to happen. So near the abandoned van, I try not to look at the body. Just gotta find a good spot to start digging. There's 2 pinyon trees at the bottom of a nearby hill that are surrounded by thick undergrowth. That'll have to do. I just wish I had a shovel. Regardless, I begin to dig. And dig and dig and dig. I pull mounds upon mounds of soil out with my bare hands. Worms, spiders, and other sorts of creepy crawlies that probably make Chase freak out are everywhere. My hands start to feel raw and I notice smears of blood in some of the soil I'm holding after a while. I can't stop now. This is already too suspicious. Hours pass. My aunt and uncle are probably wondering where I am. I don't know what I'm going to tell them. The truth? No. I'll just sneak in, act like I'm taking a shower and change my clothes, then wash them when I get the chance. This town needs secrets. Sorry, just a line from another route. I think I finally get it deep enough that my arms are numb as all hell. I glance up the hill and see the very edge of Sydney's dad's foot. Just need to get over with. Quick tug and haul and we'll be home free. I don't move. I just keep staring at it. Like, he'll start twitching or something, and I'll hear his voice ask me what I'm doing. It's just so still. Like a rock. Empty. It reminds me of the upside-down cockroaches that it found in the garage all the time. Just empty husks that once contained life and are now just a shit. Can we please not talk about morality in this... whatever. Mortality, I mean. Whatever. I'm overcome with the notion that I really, really don't want to die. Eventually, without even realizing it, I managed to get my legs working again. I grasp the foot. As I pull it down the slope, it doesn't bend like I thought it would. Rigor mortis. Each movement of the joints kind of crackles with this horrible sound. Try to think of anything else to get myself from throwing up. Gourmet salads, fishing trips, barbecues, my friends. The husk falls in the makeshift grave. For the first time I see his eyes. He's looking at me. Right at me. I always thought that looking at a dead person's eyes would be like seeing someone who's looking through you. But no. It's like he's focused on me. Fuck! Are you... I look down at Sydney's dad expectantly. No response. One of his arms is sticking up, frozen in rigor. It's too tall and could stick out if topsoil blew away. I take a deep breath and step down on it. Okay. It crunches like a bunch of dry twigs. I jolt back. Fuck. Scurry back up the hill, grabbing the rifle, the shell casings, and the dead duck for good measure. I toss it all into the pit before feverishly covering it all with dirt. To that point, I notice Sydney standing nearby, clutching onto a tree like he's afraid to blow away. His brown cheek fur is matted with tears, and he wrings his heavy tail like a wet cloth. I make sure to cover the face as fast as possible, though I still think Sydney saw it. I wonder if he thought the eyes were looking at him too. Scoop the last full mounds of dirt on top, wiping the blood off of my jacket. I'm panting. Sydney looks from the grave to me. He opens his mouth, pauses, and quietly mutters, "Thanks, Flynn." I don't know what to say. Yeah. I nod for some reason. I managed to look him straight in the eyes this time. Where do we go from here? No, something happens. Something on his face. It's like he's not himself. We'll be okay. We're tough. None of this matters. But that's what Flynn said. Oh, holy shit. Fuck, man. Is that where Flynn got that from? What the fuck? The van jostles and teeters as it careens down the dirt road before the turn off to Wilma Bend. All this bumping and speeding is making my head hurt something fierce all of a sudden. Leo, slow down! The Red Wolf keeps looking over his shoulder as he drives, as afraid he'll see Clint sprinting up behind us. Turn up here. Your place? Yeah, it's closest. I can't believe we left Chase behind. I told you we bolted out the back door first chance he got. I didn't know City Hall had a back door. There's silence for a moment. I say nothing. I've never seen him get like that before. Who? Clint or Chase? Shut up, Flynn. Fuck you. I feel a pinch in the back of my neck, Jen having grasped me hard. Enough, I'm serious. I reel forward, managing to wriggle free. Okay. Leo just snarls like the feral tit dirt he is. He's livid and still batshit under Chase's influence. Leo pulls up into the driveway, and as the van stops, already out, storming his way to the door. I need to piss. It's locked. Leo turns the front door handle and, to my surprise, opens it up and steps right in. Or not. I step outside, stretching my limbs. There's not much room in Leo's mommy missile for someone like me. My mind's still buzzy, trying to comprehend everything that just happened. Chase. That fucker. To think I'd been fantasizing about him nonstop for the past goddamn week like a horny 14-year-old. It sabotaged the whole thing, making me look like some kind of calculating, sadistic rapist. And nobody else knows when his face changed. Every time. TJ and Jenna pass along beside me, both giving me a mix of wary and exhausted. I wonder how much of his shit they believed. They're so gullible to bullshit, coming from a whimpering face after all. Carl follows suit, clutching his phone in his paws, but not looking at it. Maybe not all of them, though. I shut the car door and head in. I enter, and the dry heat feels so good on my scales. I let out a big sigh, taking a moment to just not think for a while and ignore the stares in my direction. Flynn? The moment lasts less than 5 seconds before Jen interrupts. Yeah? Do you have a landline? We're trying to dial the sheriff, but none of us can get any reception on our phones. It shows bars every now and then, but then drops shortly after they appear. Do I look like I'm 40? Nobody's landlines these days. You kinda do. I'm in from the back. I resist the urge to ask how, instead letting out a huff of air. Let me check mine. Reaching my pocket. After taking out my phone, I notice the signal bars in the top right are fluctuating wildly, almost blinking. I try to call 911, but nothing goes through. Shit. Not working for you either. I toss my phone on the kitchen island. I'll just get my repeater. Your what? Flynn, seriously? Are you planning on tuning this into some kind of Wild West shootout? This is not the time for one of your urban-ass anti-gun lectures. This is my house. And it starts up a rebuttal, but are gone. I head down the hallway to the storage closet, open it and reaching up to the top shelf. I don't have any small kids to worry about, so I always leave this one loaded just in case. Good. Good, Flynn. At least you're not anti-gun like some fucking idiots. I hear some shuffling behind me. Looking over my shoulder, there's some movement going on in Daxton's room. Ordinarily, I give him in his private space a wide-ass berth, so he'll do the same, but under the circumstances... Yo. The salamander blinks at me from his bed. He's draped in a striped blanket, sitting upright and looking a little frazzled. Flynn, He looks sidelong, then back to me, then the rifle. The interview went that badly? Fucking terribly. Also, there's a meth head with a gun roaming around town, so I got this just in case. Theirs are here too. They're eating all your shit, probably. Okay. As long as they don't touch my restaurant dried ice cream, it's okay. Too late. By now, Carl's eaten them all, plus the box they came in. You know how goats are. Speciesist. Wait, seriously, the interview didn't go smooth like? I wasn't fucking kidding when I said that. Daxton frowns. I'll talk to my cousin, maybe make up some excuse or something. You look like shit. What? Blinks and rubs his hands over his smooth face. Oh yeah, took a nap and had a real strange sort of vision dream. I've been having a lot of those lately. I noticed the pen and paper in his lap now, plus a notebook filled with random scribblings. I need to write everything down, otherwise I'd forget. You know how they are, when after 50 minutes it's all gone, but a vague sense of familiarity at a setting and time of day. I don't dream. Salamander blinks. What? I looked down the hall. I was joking earlier, but it looks like Carl's straight up digging through our pantry already. Daxton sighs and realized I'm not going to explain. Is Chase out there? I talked to him about all this stuff yesterday at the party. What party? The group. They had a cookout thing at Chase's place, and Carl invited me along. You didn't know? Fucking figures. I feel a bit like I'm boiled inside, though I keep a straight face. No, I don't care. Also, the Musk shit isn't here. Oh. Can I tell you about it? Look, I don't... It'll just take a minute. Dax, I'm distracted as dick right now. You're distracted by dick? Ass? Are you fucking deaf? No, you're just confusing. Look, I was flying on this airship thing. In your dream? Yeah, but it felt real. I don't feel like I slept at all. It's like I was there. So not a dream. Not a dream. A vision, spirit quest, out-of-body experience, whatever the hell you want to be calling it. I lean my rifle against the doorway, crossed my arms over my chest. I could smell the metal of the cockpit. I could feel the leather of the chair. I was flying over this giant body of water. I didn't think it was an ocean, though. He stares at the tips of his webbed feet poking out from beneath the blankets as if they remind him of something. It made me nervous because I wasn't good at swimming. But I'm great at swimming. I'm a goddamn salamander, yeah? Something went wrong with the pulse drive, and I started losing altitude. Eventually, I hit the water and had to evacuate. Everything just sunk instantly. I didn't have time to grab any gear. It was just me in the middle of the water, no land in sight, and little chance of rescue. Salamander began to wring his own wrists, his tone of voice serious despite the absurdity of all this shit. All I knew how to do was doggy paddle. I remember being really scared and missing home. I tried slipping off all my clothing to make myself more buoyant, but it didn't work. I kept looking under the water for some reason, like to see how deep it was. I couldn't see the bottom, it was so dark. Top of the water was warm, but like even 5 feet down, it was freezing. I kept trying to pull my legs up because I didn't like them being down in the cold, dark space. It was like I was afraid of something down there. Even though it hurt my eyes, I wouldn't stop pushing my head under to look to be sure it was safe. He peers up at me now, a strange sort of expression in his face I can't really name. Just as it was getting dark, I glanced down into the depths and saw orange and black. It was you. I crossed my arms just a little tighter, my frown deepening. You were so far down I could just barely make out your general shape and your eyes. They were hollow. Empty, nothing. Even though I forgot most of the other details, that face stuck with me. And consciously roll my own eyes, still there as far as I can see. I was terrified, but there was nowhere I could swim. His face started kicking, it would get the thing's attention. Despite everything, after a few minutes, I looked again. At first, it was just empty. And then this huge head just emerged from the depths. No eyes and a gaping mouth where a muzzle should be. The whole water got cold and I woke up. Axton leans at his blanket, looking a mix of deeply uncomfortable and relieved to get this off his chest. Still, I stare blankly at him. I don't have a fucking clue how to react to this. Sounds like something for a head shrink to unpack, as fuck knows I'm not gonna try. Axton leans his head back against the wall. Thanks anyway. Yup. I look down the hall again and see Carl chewing what looks like a dehydrated Neapolitan bar. Carl's eating your shitty ice cream that you like for cereal, by the way. What? Oh, god damn it. Carl! The ram stops, his mouth full of the grumbly stuff. Axton peels off his blanket, marching up to the kitchen in a huff. I sigh, shaking my head as I pick up the rifle and pop myself by a window in the dining room. TJ looks most surprised at the weapon in my grasp. Link's actually stepping back. Jenna puts down her phone and Carl stops. Carl stops as apologizing to Daxton. At that moment, Leo steps out of the bathroom. He doesn't move, he just looks at the rifle, then me. Oh, what the hell? These idiots act like they've never seen a gun before. For fuck's sake. I bring the rifle up to my chest. Y'all don't gotta worry, I just have this to shoot y'all for treating me like shit all these years. I smirk, snickering some. No one else laughs. Even as I appear to Carl, he just looks down at his hooves. It was a fucking joke. I'm joking. You guys are so stupid. Way to go, Flynn. Turn, shifting focus to the outside. It's nearly nightfall now. Everything looks normal. There's some smokes way off in the distance, but it's too far to really be a much concern. Just got off the phone with Chase. He's fine. What? You managed to get a call through? Let me see. She walks up to the wolf, and before he has time to react, she swipes it from his grasp. Fox squints in it for a good 5 seconds before handing it back to Leo. This phone is out of battery, Leo. No. Yes. She sighs. TJ and Carl exchange looks with each other. None of you are making very funny jokes this evening. Let's just make some dinner instead. We're not gonna talk about what happened? I'm sorry, right now I just want to eat. There's a lot here to unpack, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but we can do better than what happened earlier. I must have actually surprised. I never would have figured I never would have figured I'd hear those words from Jen, especially with TJ around. Leo, meanwhile, just looks confused. He's frowning to himself, looking around as if lost. Then all of a sudden he blinks once, then smiles. Food sounds great. For a brief moment, his smile shifts to me and his eyes go ice cold like a fucking shark. What the hell is his problem? I'm the goddamn victim here. Not that I'd ever put it like that. I haven't exactly grocery shopped to host a party of... Jackson stops, stopping to count all of us. 6? Salamander opens the fridge, staring into it as if looking into a particularly deep canyon. We got leftover salads, some fruit, cream cheese. There's frozen bass in the fridge. I glance over and a few of them grimace. Of course. You got a blender, can make some smoothies with the kefir yogurt, milk, and fruit. Maybe a side salad with it. I mean, I'm assuming y'all have been just quaffing down the local diner junk all week, so it might be nice. Carl, TJ, and Jen exchange looks with each other. Leo, meanwhile, looks to be tapping at his phone, occasionally looking out the window. That'll work, thank you, Daxton. Apologies for all of this. I didn't say it was fine, some of that's my shit. Daxton gives me a dull look. Without further word, he takes out the big bowl of leftover salad and sets it on the counter along with a grocery bag of fruit. I feel my teeth start to grit, so I shift my focus outside again. Still no signs of life beyond the usual distant spots of light, each coming and going from down the highway around the canyon. The smoke I noticed earlier rising up near the res looks like it's billowed higher, though. Despite everything, it's actually sort of nice out. Temperature okay, with some light cloud cover that only particularly avails the purple-orange hues of the dusky sky. It's the sort of night I'd usually like to spend outside in the porch, drinking tea and whittling on some balsa. Daxton's usually quiet, cooped up in his room with his fantasy shit. I don't know how I feel about the music he usually has playing, but it's not bad. To think 30 miles away, Peyton's bustling with 100,000 people all enjoying the Saturday night. Hell, back in the day, it used to be a tiny ranch community that serviced Echo, everyone fed and such. 30 miles in the other direction, you've got the res. Population keeps dwindling from that place too, no matter how much money the feds give them to live there. All the young folk just pack up and get out while they can. The rest generally don't do too hot. Finally, 65 miles to the east, you've got the Jericho proving grounds. What? I remember back when I was a tweeny little jarhead, fussing at my uncle to take me there. They only did tours twice a year, and there's a huge wait list. I had expected there to be a giant hole in the ground the size of Echo Canyon, but there's pretty much nothing. Dust and sediment had filled it all in over the span. Dust and sediment had filled it all in over the span of 75 years. Dry grass and shrubs had even sprouted on top. All that was left was just a torn up hunk of a 3-ton cylinder that burned so hot, metal liquefied and cooled beneath it. You could walk to the side and have no idea that's where the fucking A-bomb was dropped. Well, if it weren't for the big black obelisk they wrecked on top. which now is just another spot for visitors to take photos of themselves. Man mustn't forget the past, for the past will not forget man, it reads. It reminds me of that whole push from the county to make the mine some fucking tourist spot. Just slap a plaque up there with a little blurb about all the death and shit. It'll make a great selfie spot. Traffic is traffic, right? Hell, call it Han, and you'll get even more weirdos coming here to exploit it. Like Chase. So I hear the background noise of muffled conversation and Daxton trying to figure out how my blender works. The present sinks in. I wonder if he's gonna figure his way out before I can get to him. I look over, and Daxton's putting a whole fucking apple into the blender. Some bitch, what are you doing? Daxton looks up, struggling to keep the lid on as the apple smacks hard against the sides of the plastic container. Cut the fucking thing up first, it's not gonna take a whole apple. Salamander still looks a bit dazed. I guess he's still reeling from his dream or whatever. Don't just me. Do it, you fucking slippery bitch, before you break my shit. Flynn? Jen is glaring at me from the living room. It's my shit, it's my house. Jesus, man, I'm stopping. Pulls out the lacerated apple, sitting on the paper towel, grumbling. Gosh, damn Asperger's and fries, I swear. I clench my rifle harder, hearing that old A word again. Turning, I make my way down the hall. There's a window in my bedroom, I'll watch there. No one else says anything, at least while I'm still in earshot. I kick aside my hammer and pull open the curtains to peer outside. The view's not as good here, but I don't think I could stand being in there too much longer. I tense, feeling the brush of fur on my arm. Carl's standing next to me, some freeze-dried ice cream in his grasp. Jesus, when do you get so quiet? Doesn't say anything, which puts me in the awkward position of being the one to speak. Fat ass, I mumble. Carl holds up the ice cream, which has a weird wafer-like consistency. I told Daxton I'd give him a bunch of hens cartons I got back at my house. Your folks won't mind. They won't notice, I could just say I ate it myself. Yeah, they wouldn't doubt that. There's a light smile on his muzzle now. Right. I blink. You're okay? Not really. All this stuff got mine off interview, though. Just kind of want to go home and play video games without getting shot. There's a silent pause. Jeez. What he said wasn't true. Oh, I know. I let out a sharp exhale, closed my eyes for a second. I looked at my repeater rest against the floor. Thank you, though. For what? Defending me back at the office? Ram shakes his head dismissively. I don't think you'll see most of them besides Leo again after tomorrow, though. Like you said, none of this matters. The truth does. I guess your spring break hookup with Chase isn't going to be a long-term thing then, right? I wasn't really expecting that to be brought up. Who told him? Or was it that fucking obvious? He pulls out his phone, seeming to check whether my Wi-Fi is working yet. I grunt, clear my throat. I just want to know what happened. Dude, if I was Chase, I'd just get in my car and drive back to Pueblo at this point. I don't think he's gonna do that. Why? I locked his ass in the reading room. Carl's eyes wide, the Ram reacting much quicker than normal than it without his usual pot haze. So that's where you went. I think that's a crime, man. So is murder. Dude, this is Chase you're talking about. Yeah. I look offward, peering at the sorry state my room is in at the moment. I usually keep shit tidy, but now there's a dirty laundry all over the place and kinda smells musky. Nowhere near as bad as Carl's, but still. I'm just gonna talk to him. No torch or anything, right? Fucking hell, Carl. Do you really think I'd do that? I'm not Leo. I was joking. He rolls his shoulders. It feels kinda like when we were kids again with all this stuff. Yeah, I trail off like my mouth is refusing to speak the words in my head. He sets his not icy ice cream down on my nightstand, and I resist the urge to yell to him about the crumbs. Meanwhile, Daxton starts up the blender down the other room. Man. I think I hear Carl sigh. Do you want like a hug or something? I look down at him, raising a brow. Do you? He shrugs, being a mixture of numb and trepidatious. I just don't want you to leave, dude. Not like everyone else. It takes me a moment to register the shift in conversation. After everything that's happened, that's what's bothering him the most. The fact that I said I might leave town. Man, we talked about this shit earlier. I know, dude. God rubs at his jaw and faced with the base of his paws, pacing upon the carpeted floor. It's suck ass, that's all. Not in a good way either. I fidget with my rifle, acting like I'm doing something with it while I think of what to say. You'd be alright. I don't know, you seem to be friendlying up with Dax. He even plays video games and does all that other nerd shit you like that I don't. You games sometimes. Yeah, only because you do. I guess that's the point, isn't it? He scratches at his beanie, a bit of his head fur peeking out from the horn holes. I say nothing, just watching him go back and forth. I wish he wasn't so nervous. I wish he'd just say it. He's cool. And you're not at all anxious around him. I still kinda am. You were talking about porn shit with him within an hour of your first proper conversation. That's how you can tell he made a good friend. I put on a smirk. If that were the case, you'd be the most popular guy in the county. Oh, fuck off, bleeder. I smirk regardless. With a shift of my hips, I nudge him with my tail. Stop your treading, you're wearing out the carpet. Sorry. He stops, looking down at his hose for a moment, then back up to me. If I stayed put, I'd probably start sticking to it. Fuck you. I smile, though. I try to stifle it. I always thought us lizard folk look fucking creepy when we smile. We don't really have that same cutesy appeal like most furry fuckers. Like Carl. This is gonna sound really gay, but promise you won't leave, dude. Seriousness, the request makes me pause. I look into his eyes and I feel like a selfish asshole. Carl's not fucking ready for this world. He's just gonna rot here. But I never really felt right filling this whole big brother role again after what happened. Carl shifts his way from hoof to hoof, noting my lack of response. I know I'm a total burden, but you're not a fucking burden. Huh? You keep me from losing my mind in this shithole, you know that? You're the reason I haven't left already. Carl stops shifting, seeming to be trying to wrap his head around that admission. He opens his muzzle to speak, but I cut him off. And don't fucking go off again about how you're almost 20 when you should be better on your own. Turning into an adult doesn't magically fix all the shit that fucked you up as a kid. Dude, you're not. He thickens his lips, the ram looking rather awkward. I'll stay. For now. For real? That's what I just fucking said, you absolute dumbass. The next thing I know, Carl's fist is against my soft spot. I flinch back, irking instinctively, but there's no pain, only that same usual tingly feeling. He's not punching me, he's poking me. The corner of Carl's lips curl upward in a sort of half-smile. He nudges me again, this time in the shoulder. I raise an inquisitive brow, thumping him back. He steps forward, wrapping his arms around my torso. I need a bit of a drink. Good grief. I'm left standing, a little baffled at what just happened with Carl's thick arms around my midsection. It's for his course. Not quite to the point that it's pricking me, but it has its weight to it. I look down at the top of his beanie noggin, and it really is just like he was a kid again. A real damn milk sob. There's no back pats with the hug, he lingers. I open my mouth to say something stupid, but I just bite my tongue. I don't draw back either. Close my eyes, I empty my mind, and just stop thinking for a moment. I lean forward, resting my chin between his horns. I get this sort of weird, twisty feeling in my chest. Carl shifts again as if trying to look up. And of course, the edge of his hoof steps right on my toes. I suppress a grimace just as the ram lifts his head up enough to meet eye to eye. Sorry. Yeah, it's fine, I'm tough. Hey, Jenna's voice starts as both we pull apart. I pivot on heel to see the fox staring at us with a look I can't quite place. Surprised, bemused, even a bit wry. Food's ready. She looks at both of us. Carl acts like he's checking his phone. High school me would be squeeing right now. I swear, there's something about tap water. I have a mouth to protest, and then just let out a quiet ugh. I have to will my tail not to curl in on itself. Then again, I'm pretty sure you don't drink plain water. She seems to be looking up at Carl. I can practically see Carl's blush through the fur in his cheeks. Flynn, when you got a minute? What? I clear my throat, putting on a more neutral expression. What do you want? I need to talk to you. Not about this. Her eyes flick back and forth between us. She's drinking in the sight like Carl down energy drinks. What the hell does she want to talk to me alone about? I glance down to Carl, then back. Yeah, I'm still gonna keep watch after, though. Is that what you were doing? She turns, departing as soon as she finishes speaking, not letting me get a word out. Fucking typical. I run my hand over my face. It was just a hug. Carl's voice is quiet, but still rings defensive. Fuck her. I'm glad you're staying, though, dude. I grunt, reaching over and squeezing the pudge of the ram's side. He grins instinctively, trying to push my hand away. I give his pectoral one last pinch before giving him a nudge out the door to my room. I guess I'm supposed to feel embarrassed right now, but I don't really. I'm just glad to have this loser around. Dyson will be good for Carl if I go, but I don't want to think about that now. As I turn to leave, I look at my bed and I can't help but see him laying there. That vacant look in his eyes, my cum still splattered on his neck. Fucker was playing me the whole time for what? To get off? That's all it was. It's spring break and he, for some reason, watched enough scaly porn to want me. Consequence-free, right? The sound of clinking silverware in the kitchen pulls me back into the present. I straighten out my pants, waiting for my cock to fully retreat before heading back to the kitchen with my rifle. There they all are. Carl's already poking around inside a salad bowl on the counter, glancing at me briefly. Daxton's the only one sitting, staring at the water in his glass. I sling my rifle over my shoulder. I grab one of the salamander's cups from the cupboard and get myself what looks like an apple banana smoothie. The cup itself is labeled for some sort of convention, though the exact name has been worn away from many washings. As I move to the salad, Carl nudges me. At first I think he's just being playful, but then I follow his eyes. Leo's standing by the window with his nose practically pushed up against it. I can see the condensation from his breath murking up the glass. It's getting dark out, so we're probably just keeping watch. Still doesn't stop him looking like a real weird motherfucker. Dude, just looking at him too, his expression difficult to place. He's never been exactly hard to read when he's upset like this. This nervous tick always gives it away. Yet I can't tell what he looks more of. Concerned or guilty. I'm usually good at reading folks, so this is kind of pissing me off. I take a seat next to Daxton. I'm, a bit out of the loop here. His big blue eyes shift from person to person. Might be best if you fuck off again for a bit. Seriously, can you just explain something for once instead of being a weird cryptic shithead? I can see lines from along Daxton's smooth forehead as he furrows his brows. His skin so tightly stretched across his body, it makes his even slightest change of face readily visible. I don't have a clue how the furry tits get my kind confused with his, as I grunt and mutter for a minute for him to eat my shit. I can't help but wonder if I should bring him up to speed or not. I guess part of me wants as many people as possible to know what happened. I mean, fuck, that's what I've always wanted, right? These fuckers finally acting like something happened, that our little group wasn't just little old Leo, Chase, TJ, Jenna, Carl, and I. Eventually, everybody sits to eat. There's not enough room at the kitchen island for everybody, so TJ and Jenna sit on the counter by the fridge. TJ's still not saying much. Alright, I still can't access Wi-Fi or make calls. Daxton, is it? Yep. Were we not taking shelter from Clint? We wouldn't mean to impose upon you like this, so my apologies. It's alright. Looks at the clump of almond shavings in his salad. I just want to know what's going on. She looks to TJ, then after a quiet affirming nod from the link, she responds to the salamander. We were younger, one of our neighbors, our friend, drowned in Lake Emma. He pauses. Actually, they died in a hospital later on, but the point is, we were all there for it. It was a rather traumatizing experience, even for the older members of our sort of friend group at the time. She speaks in such a plain, even tone she might as well be reading the directions off the back of a TV dinner. Everyone, including Daxton, looks incredibly uncomfortable. The salamander just nods in faux understanding. Oh. He digs into his sow with such focus like he's trying to read a book in there. So let's just jump right into it. She takes a big drink from her smoothie, leaving us in anticipation. I groan quietly. Flynn? Fucking what? Do you believe that Chase killed Sydney? What? Daxton looks up, letting out a little wisp of laughter as someone were joking. As he sees he's the only one laughing, he starts to look visibly tense. I didn't fucking expect her to just straight up and ask me this either. Well, way I see it, either Chase is lying or TJ is. Or fucking maybe they both are and are covering for each other's asses. But Chase in there was spouting bullshit like a steer's rear. I point to TJ while he looks away. Threw me under the bus the moment he started squealing. Chase would never lie to me like that. He lied to you all the fucking time, you not-brained bastard. Leo snarls. Do you have any non-rose-tinted memories left in that fucking thick skull of yours? I don't need to listen to nothing from someone who manipulated him for sex. I stand up, my stool falling back and hitting the floor. How goddamn dare he? Not this shit again. I didn't fucking do that. Do you really think I'm some fucking rapist? You're so stupid. Why don't you goddamn listen to me? Enough. TJ shifts, looking about to start crying again. I'm not lying. I clutch the edge of the counter, trying to control my breathing. I slowly pull up my stool and sit, trying to ignore the strange look Leo was giving me. He kind of reminds me of those fish in the freezer. The way they stare forever when there's no more circuits firing in their tiny brains. I wonder if I'll ever love someone enough to go full stupid in the face of facts like this. What a poor, crazy idiot. It's still word versus war with you two. And Chase fucked off once TJ told us what happened from his point of view. Which took you long enough, by the way. I hard-eye the lynx, but his own eyes are cast so far away from me that might as well be in the back of his head. TJ... Jenna rubs her paws on a napkin, wringing at some before speaking again. Tell us about the monster you saw. Oh, come on. Jenna ignores me. Give us as many details as you can. And take as much time as you need. TJ clutches his bowl of salad in his lap with both paws. It looks like he hasn't had a bite. His eyes take on that more reflective quality they always do when tears are starting to well. It's unnerving on sort of primal level to see TJ tearing up like this. He's an adult, a grown-ass man, looking just like he did when he was a kid. It reminds me how little any of us have truly grown up. Like I said before, tall with burnt skin, reddish, I guess. How tall? Like almost 7 feet? Jenna frowns. How did it move? Really fast, or not at all. It was, like pictures, you know? A slideshow that was being fast-forwarded. Garofine looks up from his hooves, the ram appearing increasingly nervous. When it walked through the water didn't move like a wake. It just splashed out with each step. Tell me about the face again, please. Okay. Gigi's having such a hard time getting the words out, but Jenna doesn't stop. She looks wrapped. 3 holes. 2 for the eyes, 1 for the mouth. They weren't like bloody or anything, just empty, dark. Everyone's silent for a moment. Then next to me, Daxton raises up to his feet. The salamander walks around to where TJ's sitting and points to something behind him. Like this? He's pointing at the electrical sockets? TJ turns, looking at it, then he twitches as if startled. He quickly wipes his eyes and nods. Daxton stares, slack-jawed. Leo takes a loud slurp from his smoothie. There's a dribble of the pink liquid stuck in his fur on the edge of his jowls. Guys, I'm missing something here. I saw it. Saw what, Carl? That thing. Carl gestures toward the electrical outlet. I give him an incredulous look as we meet each other's glances for a second. Yeah. I saw a pretty nifty light switch back when I was 13. I look at TJ. It didn't make me hide the truth my friend's murder for about a decade. Shut up, dude. I blink at Carl. He stands up, still staring at the socket. When I crashed my car that night, you remember? I do. Carl didn't want to talk about it for months after it happened. I only found out about the truth then. It was after he dropped out of college. Apparently it was way fucking past twilight and he was drugged out of his mind. That scabies-ridden fat-ass Jeremy gave him acid in his trailer and he had a bad trip. Carl described some cartoon he put on, a tiger and a bird with the tiger baking the bird alive. He mentioned how vivid everything was and how the fucking Jeremy wouldn't stop laughing. He busted out of there and drove off all hightail-like. While making his way down Route 65, he swerved and hit a pole. The impact would have killed him if he weren't so thick-skulled. And of course, he told his dear old parents about it and they took the blame for everything. They didn't want him to be tested when the cops showed. It wasn't until a couple months ago he told me in his drug-addled mind he thought he had driven to Pueblo and picked up Chase. Carl claimed he was talking to him the whole ride back, telling him how college life was going and shit. Stroking his horns, mentioning how he missed him and wanted him back as a roommate. You know, all the shit Chase never actually said after Carl dropped out. The fucker barely even responded to his messages. He could have sworn he swerved off the road and struck the pole. He killed Chase, crushed somehow at the impact. It wouldn't stop shaking. I made a joke that I would have helped him bury the body. I threw up later thinking about it. Yeah. The ram is looking at me now with those really big, sad eyes. I never seen him like this, sober and fully fucking aware of really bad shit. Usually the moment shit starts getting remotely bad, he tokes till his mind melts the horrors away, as he calls them. There's none of that shit here, that's for certain. I never liked how it makes me feel, and Daxton's too nerdy to know any pot dealers. This is going to sound real nuts, but that thing TJ's describing with the electrical socket face, it was chasing me that night, man. I saw it, exactly how TJ described, that's how it moved. I thought I had outran it, but then it was in the car with me where I thought Chase was and I hit the fucking pole, man. Where Chase was? Leo looks at Carl with raised eyebrows. I let out a puff of exasperated air. You were tripping balls on acid. I looked to the rest of the group. That's why he thought it was with Chase. Leo's expression furrows. You've done acid, Carl. Yeah, I know how it sounds. I thought it seemed familiar earlier when TJ was describing us at City Hall. But that face, it was just like an outlet. Daxton's nodding along with everything Carl says. Flynn, I literally was just telling you about this shit. I saw it in my dream in the water. It's the second time I've seen it in 2 days. I recognize it too. Not in a dream or because of drugs, though. She looks over at TJ, who appears even more frightened with the confessions from those around him. When I was younger, well, much younger, I sometimes saw it during times I was really angry or sad. It's the closest thing I've ever had to what my grandmother described as a spiritual experience. When I told her about it, she told me it sounded a lot like a Wendigo. This is really silly, guys. We just need to talk to Chase, he'll clear all of this up for us. Leo continues to eat, the one of us still doing so at this point. Daxton gawks at him. Are you for real right now, man? I'm the only one who's thinking real things right now, yeah? Wolf scarfs down an incredibly large bite of salad. A guy like Leo probably needs to eat 4 meals a day with his wolf metabolism. His nose is starting to bleed too, probably cracking with how dehumidified I keep it in here. So despite all of us, sans you and Flynn having experience with this thing, you want to completely disregard it? Leo just nods. And to be fair, I'm fucking flabbergasted what they're saying as well. But at the same time, the coincidence of all of this is just too much. TJ's tough to read now, but I don't doubt the sincerity of Carl, Jen, or even Daxton and that they believe what they're saying. I just want the truth. That's all I want. I sigh. I think we should talk to my aunt. Why your aunt? She's good with this sort of shit. I pause. Well, I don't know what this is. This is what's happening, but fuck, I don't know what else to do. Leo just frowns at me. I frown back at him. You can go home if you want. I know it's tempting now that Chase isn't here for you to stalk. Chase will track me down like he always does. He'd be right pissed if anything happened to you guys, though. Who knows? Maybe he's seen the Wendigo, too. Daxton side-eyes me with a baffled look. You have a spare gun I could borrow? Jesus, is this really what it's come to? I look at Leo for a long moment. He's been sort of a gun nut as of late, which is real strange, knowing how against him he was in high school. You licensed? Yep, open carry. I know what I'm doing. That's not saying much, knowing our state has the most lax open licensing standards in the nation. Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up with your fucking anti-gun bullshit. That's typical Jenna for you. Reality's going out the window, but she'll still be thrusting some socio-political bullet point in the middle of it. All my shit's licensed for me and me alone. Leo just stares at me before walking off. To your aunt's house, then. He grabs the flashlight and makes his way out the front door. I guess we're going. Seems so. Carl and Daxton look at each other. I'm not feeling very good. If you're gonna puke, do it on Dax's side of the sink. Salamander is already looking unnerved, so manages to frown even more. Jenna strokes the lynx's arm, muttering something that I can't quite catch. For a split second, a glimmer of a sad smile appears on his face. It diminishes quickly, but I guess I'm glad TJ's not completely broken. The group begins to head out, leaving their plates and cups on the counter. I linger a bit, catching Jen as she's wiping her paws off in a dish towel. Hey. Yeah? You want to tell me something? She gives me a look like she doesn't know what I'm talking about. She pauses and nods, remembering something. I'm happy for you and Carl. Her tone is idle, her mind seemingly focused elsewhere. If he's going to explore his sexuality, it's good it's with someone he knows and trusts, who's, experienced. What? I cross my arms slightly over my chest, squinting down at her. How the fuck would she know I'm experienced? We ain't a thing. Yes, you weren't ever much for having things in general. She looks out the window, her expression kind of like a mix of distant and troubled. Everyone's filing into the van except Daxton, lifting up his phone to the sky, trying to get service, I guess. Eyes open out to her butt, she holds up her paw. It's not what I wanted to talk to you about, and I suppose current matters are, she sighs, more pressing than would be appropriate to delay for this conversation. Her demeanor seems to shift, her posture is full of that holier-than-thou air that she usually seems hell-bent on putting on. I can see Leo behind the wheel now, surely getting antsy. Yeah, Leo looks like he's about to pop a hemorrhoid already. I just wanted you to know I understand your concerns more clearly. I grunt. Yeah, well, hopefully my aunt can help me understand yours. I thumb back toward the electrical socket. Jenna looks at it, purses her lips, and scowls. I can't tell if she's just frowning at herself or at this point. When all logic's gone out the fucking window, her shtick of being the rational mind here is certainly at challenge. With a small nod, she turns, heading out with the rest. I sigh, pulling back the lever on my repeater and watching the clip extend outward. I remember to load it after all. Here's hoping I don't need it. I push it back and head outside. Jesus Christ, man. Oh my god. Leo's quiet as he drives, occasionally checking the rearview mirror. Everyone else is pretty silent too. It's weird being in a car with Carl and him just sitting there quietly, not staring at his phone or anything. It's like he doesn't know what to look at and is stuck pondering his own thoughts for a change. I look back at Jen, who's monitoring her phone for any sign that the signal will stay consistent enough to get a message out. It's hard to believe it, but she was actually trying to apologize earlier. In her own weird way, of course. Part of me wanted to say I was sorry for what I said at the river about how she treats her family, but that would be lying. I'm not sorry for what I said, but I can tell when something hit hard and hurt more than I'm happy with. People dance around shit all the time with so much of this bullshit could have been avoided. People were just honest with each other. I rolled down the window and propped my knees up on the dash, craning my neck just so I could peer at TJ in the mirror. He knows I'm watching him. Hell, I think everyone's watching him. Even with Socket Man as a cover story, him keeping silent about this for so long is just cruel. Did he truly think not mentioning the fur color of the person in the water with Sydney was for the best? Maybe he thought he could avoid a situation like this, our group getting shattered. Well, our group is fucked now. No way in hell I want to hang out with anyone but Carl after all this shit. And it wasn't like all peaches and gravy these past few years anyway. Chase, TJ, and Jenna haven't so much as texted me since they left for college. And Leo. He used to visit me back at the warehouse when I packed freight. We fucked a couple times, but he seemed to get more and more disgusted with the arrangement. I couldn't tell if it was with me or him, but it was awkward as hell. I mean, I'm not the sentimental type, but when you're being screwed by somebody and they glance away anytime you look at them, it makes you feel like shit. I eventually had enough, told him I wasn't his fucking otter, and told him to get a flesh like the rest of us. He cut me out of his life right then and there and stopped visiting Carl. It's shitty watching somebody who was once a social butterfly turn into an absolute recluse. For the first part of this week, he was trying so hard to act like his old self that nothing has changed. We were fags and weirdos in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. Of course, we stuck together at first. But as Carl says, shit's broke now. As we make the turn off on a Margaret Street, I spot the familiar dust-colored plastic flamingos that adorn Auntie's yard. The manufactured house was built back in the 80s and still dons this sort of faded turquoise color scheme. She added these pink diamond-shaped bathroom tiles all around the roof's edge a couple years ago, too. For Halloween and Christmas, she hangs up colored tube lighting. She hangs up neon colored tube lighting. I swear you can see her house lit up from miles away. I'm not entirely sure what aesthetic she's going for. Carl called it vintage trailer trash once, and I guess that's fitting enough. Leo slows the van some as we approach. I don't see any lights on. No car in the driveway. She can't have parked in the garage. It's packed full of boxes of Funko stuff. Guys? The salamander pokes through the glass of the window next to him, pointing at something across the street. That's, Karen's place, right? Our old bus driver. It looks like somebody's broke in. Is that recent? The colored glass of the front door is shattered. Piles of Technicolor shards are splayed across the concrete porch. Yeah, very. As in, it wasn't like this when I stopped by this morning. People are taking advantage of emergency services being out. I hope she's okay. Her car's not here either. They broke her statue, too. Little sombrero chihuahua man's statuette she had next to the door is completely shattered. It's smashed into 100 pieces. The wooden Benevito sign that used to hang around his neck is split in half and laying in the dirt. Good, Jenna mumbles. I clutch my rifle a little tighter, trying to see if there's any movement going on inside the house. It's completely still beyond the light swaying of pink lace curtains from the breeze outside. It's probably best we speak at the mayor. Perhaps with what's going on, she returned to City Hall? My heart drops in my chest. Yeah, that makes sense. Hopefully the crazy guy is gone by now. I don't know. She usually doesn't work Saturdays. Jen raises an eyebrow at me. Well, this is quite a Saturday, Flynn. Leo sighs, putting the van into gear. City Hall it is. It's well into the night by the time we pull into the gravel parking lot. Sure enough, Auntie's teal hatchback Jeep is parked by the side of the building. Daxton squints at it, then points. An Astra bumper sticker. On the chrome bumper, there's a decal, but I guess it's a silhouette of Captain Amicus with some sort of insect on his face. In golden spacey font it reads, "These things are harmless, don't worry." Reference to Ad Astra, man. Oh, good grief. I didn't know your aunt was cool. She's not. I grumble idly, mind racing as I try to think of a distraction to keep everyone away outside. There Everyone but Carl and I are already getting out of the van. The Ram gives me a nervous look before nodding at me and speaking up. Dudes, wait a sec. What? Leo's tone is curt as he looks back at the Ram who's sleepishly pulling himself outside. I feel like I'm gonna be sick. No. It's all that freeze-dried ice cream. It's so shitty I can't handle it. Carl begins to make retching noises and Jonah quickly covers her ears. Oh God, Carl. Yeah, please just don't throw up my van, yeah? Guys? Carl can just make some of the most visceral, gut-wrenching, irping sounds I've heard. They practically sound wet. Guys! I turn around and see what Tina's trying to get our attention for. A whole bunch of cars are driving down the road in our direction like a convoy. I recognize the one in front. It's Mark in his SUV. He works here at City Hall. They start to pull into the parking lot. They quickly filling the point where folks are trying to park on the road. What's going on? Here's my chance. That's Mark. Maybe we'll have some answers. I need to head inside real quick. I'll be right back. Jenna nods slightly, watching what looks like a bunch of townsfolk get out of their cars in front of us. I pass the still hunched over Carl and give him a squeeze on the shoulder. Thanks. I feel like I'm actually gonna puke now after that. Don't. I head inside. It's quiet when I enter, though. I can hear the subtle sounds of shuffling paper coming from down the hall. I'm starting to feel this strange sort of pang in my head, like someone's pressing an ice pack to the front of my skull. Maybe it's because I'm nervous. Regardless, here I go. I walk lightly, peering around the corner into Auntie's office. Her fingers flick along various pages within the manila folder, her tropical flower-print scarf swaying with her every movement. I watch her, illuminated only by the soft glow of the moonlight outside. I'm wrought with this uneasy sort of feeling where I can't tell if she actually knows that I'm here or not, or whether she cares. It's a familiar feeling, but never one I got quite used to. There's a hell of a ruckus outside. You looking for something? Anything something's regarding the whole hysteria business. She speaks plainly. What? I'll tell you in a sec. Is Mark here yet? She cranes her neck to peer out the tiny slit window in the corner of her office. Yet there's not much of view other than the side of a sagebrush bush. I saw him pulling up in his SUV outside with like a whole convoy of folk following him. This about Clint? She looks up, seeming to notice my repeater for the first time. Her brow furrows. You know, under any other circumstance, I'd give you a chewing out for bringing that inside. I did hear he's making a hell of a scene around town, waving a gun around. Figured it was a meth bin until I saw Dale doing the same damn thing. Diner Dale? That fucking otter's kind of a softie, ain't he? You don't think it's got to do with his painkiller addiction? I popped 4 of the pills he takes earlier, you know, for aches. That ain't the sort of thing to put you in a gunfighting mood. I nod. Despite everything she's telling me, I can't really focus on it. I keep looking back toward the closed reading room door behind me. Fuck, might as well just get it over with. I take a deep breath. Did you let Chase out? What? She seems confused at the sudden change of topic. Chase, Leah's lover boy. Former lover boy. He hasn't been pounding on the door to get out. Boy, what are you talking about? I haven't seen him since you brought him in the Hendricks boy to City Hall the other afternoon. I turned, moving out to the hallway and locking the reading room door. I always thought it was weird that it had a lock facing the hall, though I think Anya mentioned there used to be a back exit through here. What the hell? Flynn, what did you do? I ignore my aunt's exasperated voice as I push open the door, stepping into the dark room. It's mustier than a skunk's ass in here with all the rain damage. I can practically feel the mildew and mold on my toes as I run my hand along the wall. Eventually, I find the light switch. Chase? He's not in here? Carl's voice takes me by surprise, the Ram standing slightly behind me. And of course, Daxton's there too, the salamander gawping at the interior like he's in some kind of museum. I can't believe you locked Chase up like the city clerks had the authority to do that. Not unless it's like archiving him. You told him? I glare down at the Ram, who quickly throws up the flat of his paws defensively. He's your roommate, dude. Come on, it's like he's part of the old group anyway. Fortunately, like Carl said, I don't see the rest of the gang. Carl notices me peering past him and speaks up. They're talking with Mark outside. It's about time he showed up. I'm here. fine. The two of them wave awkwardly. Auntie looks at the both of them with a sort of perplexed frown. Hello, y'all. She responds abruptly, quickly looking back up to me. Now, Flynn. Just give me a sec, he's gotta still be in here. I see a strained blue V-neck shirt lying on the ground in the corner by the old bookshelves. Chase! Still no response. It's then I notice there's something moving on his shirt, little specks that seem to be gathering the folds of the fabric. Oh, fuck me! I hold out my arm across the doorway, pushing Carl and Daxton back. Dude, what? I'll need a mark shut off those bug bombs after work on Monday like I asked. I'm assuming by your tone that he did not. They hatched. Oh, goodness. Can we not play the pronoun game right now? What are you talking about? I see the unused can sitting knocked over in the corner. Stay back, Black Widows. I lower my arm and walk over to it, quickly popping the top and watching the fire begin to mist the foul-smelling fumigation spray into the air. The effect is near instant. The skittering pattern of little spiders begins to grow more erratic. I watch as an adult one on Chase's shirt clambers on top of an increasingly still pile of the little spiders. It just sits there writhing. I can feel something on my foot too, but my skills are too thick for it to be of any threat to me. I hear Carl mutter behind me. I take back what I always said. You do have balls. Excuse me? Sorry, Mayor Moore. Boys, I do not have time for this. As I look past the shadow to see a big lump of fur curled up in the corner under one of the old metal desks. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck! I dash over, grabbing at the otter's scruff and yanking his ass out of there. He's surprisingly light and realizes I've never picked him up before. Oh, damn, is he okay? Water, give me water! There's some in the mini fridge, I'll get it. As I pull him into better light, he looks like absolute shit. His lips are chapped bloody and the whites of his eyes are bloodshot. There's also dribbles of vomit on the floor, which I had the misfortune of stepping in. Vomit and spiders, fucking great. Chase, wake the fuck up! I give his face a hard slap. Carl winces. The otter wheezes raspily on a kind of low moan. Man, he's terrified of spiders. I know. Karma, right? The ram speaks in an uneasy tone, visibly uncomfortable seeing Chase like this. Yeah, maybe. Next thing I know, Ani's handing me a bottle of water. I bring it to his lips. Drink, you stupid idiot. If this was a prank of yours, it ain't a real gut-buster, Flynn. Move over, you're gonna drown him. I feel a weird tingle in the back of my neck. Reluctantly, I step aside. I look at Chase and part of me hopes he never wakes up. And I feel sick. Why is he just in his britches? I blink, glancing down and get an eyeful of Chase's briefs. You didn't undress him before you shoved him in there, right? Or was that part of it? Jesus, no! God, no! I didn't do that! The action gives me a dubious look before shifting his concerned gaze back to the otter. Auntie, meanwhile, is propping his head up on a couple office chair cushions, quietly urging the otter to drink as she wets his lips. They part for a moment, and Chase complies enough to get a swallow down. Again, part of me breathes a sigh of relief, while the other half seems to be filled with this sort of angry dread. Don't wake up. Daxton crouches down beside him, pulling back some of the fur around his collarbone and showing the swelling red skin beneath. Must have been where he got bitten. Of course, 911 ain't working. Carl chuckles nervously. I guess it's, too late to suck the venom out, right? You know that doesn't actually work. It's just dumb old westerns to make people believe that crap. Well, I had a great-grandpa or a great-great-grandpa who died of a spider bite. I mean, I think it was a tarantula or something. Tarantulas ain't that venomous. He was old as hell, and there might have been, like, a fuckload of them, I don't know. Boys, this is real reassuring talk. But could one of you get one of those first aid kits in the bathroom? It's just around the corner. Daxton stands up again and nods, heading off. Jesus' eyes are fluttering a bit now. Maybe he's having a seizure or dreaming something real crazy, I can't tell. The salamander returns, clutching the thick metal case that looks like it's from the 90s. Ani takes it, opening it up, and grabbing what she needs, like she's done this 100 times before. She applies the cold water to a piece of cloth and presses against the spot near Chase's neck where the bite is. Once it's damp, she takes an old tube of antibiotic cream and squeezes out about a quarter of its contents on the bite spot, and ladders it in. Chase winces, letting out a quiet cry. Stop! His voice is high-pitched and kind of pathetic, like a child's. Oh, don't whine, you're a big boy. I'd be one if I was in his position. It's kind of fitting, like Carl said, ain't it, though? He looks to me as if trying to gauge my expression. I managed to keep pretty stone-faced despite everything. If he did what you are saying he did. I can tell the weird distance Carl and I are keeping from him, despite his starry state is unnerving the salamander. Just a couple hours ago, it was all figured we were old friends and such. Chase begins to sit up, and it's like my heart lurches. I get that feeling in my skull again, like a brain freeze. No. Only Carl seems to notice as I clutch my temple, the ram giving me a nervous, concerned look. Finally, Chase looks to me. Flynn? Again with the childlike voice. It's like he's taunting me. I suck in my lips. What the fuck am I supposed to say? I want to slap him again. I want the fucking truth. But he looks fucking pathetic. Everything is stiff. No kidding, you're rolling a Dawn Black Widow nest, kid. More interesting things to add to your little movie you're making of our fair town. Ani sighs. I'm worried you'll have some more content here in a bit. What? What's ow? He seethes through his teeth as he clutches at his neck. What's going on? It reminds me of TJ, like he's about to start crying at a moment's notice or something. I haven't seen him like this in a long time. Carl's gaze shifts to the floor. I feel weird. Are you okay? Everything hurts, but it feels different. It's like this isn't a dream. It's not? I look to Ani. He's gonna be fine, right? These bars can be real painful. It could have been nastier with a bland recluse, but it still ain't gonna be fun. I'd get him to some professional help if I were you. If that's possible. Not gonna die? Chase peeps up, still clutching his neck. Unless you're an infant, elderly, or allergic, it's doubtful. The otter closes his eyes, letting out a long exhale. Meanwhile, Auntie stands up, heading toward the door. I need to speak with Mark and see what he found. I'll be outside. Thanks. As she leaves, I can hear the rumble of engines and hushed murmurs from a small crowd. Then the door shuts and it's quiet again. What's wrong with you, Chase? I try to keep my voice steady, though my vocal cords shrill a bit as I say his name. I practiced for years to get rid of the girly, gay tinge my voice had after puberty, but times like this I can't really hide it. Are you like a fucking sociopath or something? Are you getting off to this? You're just gonna go home and come and think about all the pain you caused? Acton flinches. You can tell he wants to step in Chase's defense. Chase says nothing. I can understand screwing me over, you know. I originally figured you didn't give two shits about Sydney what happened to him. You just wanted my dick, and that's fine. You followed me back at the river because that's all you wanted. Leo and the rest of your friends be damned. But fuck, it was so much worse. Just admit it. Just say the words. No. What? Chase's arms and legs shake as he sits on the floor, craning his neck to look up at me. You're saying you didn't do it despite what TJ said? He looks toward the door. You're an asshole, Flynn. He speaks, his voice having that squeaky, prepubescent cadence to it. But Sydney was a frickin' evil idiot, and I'm glad he died. You're glad you killed him? I'm glad he died. That's no secret. The action looking two parts tense and awkward, steps further away from the otter. Chase's eyes begin to well up. He looks so weak but brimming with emotions. The salamander mutters something about checking on the commotion outside and heads outward. The noise from the parking lot is getting louder. I hadn't really noticed. Someone shouts about something, and I hear someone else speaking quickly, trying to calm them. A long silence follows. Carl's like a statue, beside the desk, unmoving, not daring to risk drawing attention to himself. Those last 6 months before it happened, it wasn't him anymore. Or at least not fully him. What do you mean? You remember that one time he got Toby that ice cream cone from the corner shop in Peyton? The cactus-themed place that had the agave ice cream? I pause. It's such a weirdly specific thing that takes me a moment to recall. It's also fucking strange hearing Chase call TJ Toby again. He teased him the whole car ride up, and he was upset like usual. Sydney bought him the strawberry waffle cone scoop, the one with the point in the end. He felt guilty, I think, for a while. Joey was talking about Sunday school or something, and Sydney just took the cone and started trying to stab with the pointed end. It just crushed in on itself, but he wouldn't stop, like he was super into it. Then he just acted like he was scared, not of getting punched or anything, but like, just in general, you know? I remember that. The shop manager was yelling at him, he looked terrified. I told him not to worry about the townies. My teenage self thought it was hilarious. You remember the moment he decided to do that? The look in his face? It was like a... Chase clutches his neck some more, the otter clenching his eyes shut. Thing was in front of him. Chase gesticulates in front of his head, making a swirling motion before letting both of his arms drop limply on the ground. Jesus. It's like I just woke up from a really long, really bad dream. I haven't been myself in so friggin' long. Out of the corner of my vision, I can see Carl looking at me. The same shit that was happening to Sydney after... What happened to you? But fuck, I didn't see you do any of that shit until this week. I don't know, I just had bad dreams at first. Sometimes I'd see the stuff from the dreams in the real world. I kinda just numb myself to it. And Leo helped me keep my mind off things, I guess. He looks over to Carl. Then we went to college and it wasn't so bad. I stopped taking medication, things went a little better, I guess. Not great. I was still all hollow, and at least I wasn't seeing the demented crap at the end of my bed anymore. Chase takes a drink from his water bottle, cringing at the pain from each gulp. I don't know what to say. I was beginning to think I was going nuts, like I was seeing shit that wasn't real, but hearing him talk about it out loud. Just like Sydney, that weird look he'd had before looking upset or scared, doing some real heinous shit. And Chase was doing it while ordering fucking brunch. I'm sorry. Something's wrong with me, or was. I don't know. Guess, we can add that to the checklist of things to ask John about. Chase begins to stand up groggily. What? The front door was pushed open. Jen is standing in the doorway. Guys, you should get out here. She spots Chase sitting himself against the desk, her eyes widening, her ears looking back momentarily. Oh, Chase, you're here. And where are your clothes? There's spiders in them, Carl mutters. Okay, just get out here. Jenna heads back out. Chase pushes himself off the desk, beginning to walk forward like a zombie, one of those old VHS films he used to watch. Oh man, do you have like spare touristy shirts and stuff around here somewhere? Do you seriously think Echo gets enough tourists to justify merchandise? I just need to get back to the motel. Clinic first. The otter stumbles a bit, and though, with some hesitation, Carl and I take him by the shoulder and help him to the door. I make sure to grab my rifle, though. You still didn't answer my question. Chase says nothing. Alright, guys, yeah, that's enough for today. Good grief, that's enough for today. We are approaching the end of this route, though. Didn't really expect it would happen that fast, but what do you know?